Okay, so when we divide polynomials, okay, you're looking at they're both in standard form, right? This x minus 3 is the highest power term on the left, descending order of powers, x squared plus 3x minus 12. You are only looking at the leftmost term on the outside and on the inside. Okay. So now, you need to think in the same way that we would look at numbers and say, does this number go into that number? You can use that kind of reasoning. You could say, how many times does x go into x squared? Or maybe you could say to yourself, what do I multiply times x to get x squared? X. Or maybe another way you could do it is you could take this and you could divide it by this. Any way that you can, you got to figure out what number goes here. Pass? Put it up here. Okay. You got to figure out whether in your mind you're saying to yourself, how many times does this go into that? Or what do you multiply times this? Whatever. You come up with the right thing there, and then you multiply, just like we did with numbers. X times x is x squared. Okay. And then you got to multiply again. X times negative 3 is minus 3x. Right? You got to multiply for as many terms as you've got outside the divide. You got to have to multiply that many times. Okay. Now, what did we do with this step when we did division with numbers? We subtracted. Right? We did this. We subtracted. Okay. That's what we're going to do here too. Now, this is the place where we make the most mistakes. 3x minus negative 3x. 3 minus negative 3. 3x minus negative 3x. Positive 6x. Okay? If you have trouble with subtracting negatives, then you better use your calculator, right? Get it right, because you don't want to be wrong at this really early stage in the division. Okay? Now, what did we do? Okay, these cancel. I mean, we set it up so that the leftmost terms were going to cancel. That's how we picked that right there. Okay, what did we do when we were dividing with numbers at this point? We brought down the minus 12, or we brought down the next thing in the line. Okay, now we got to go through the same process. Again, you're only looking at the x and the 6x. What would you multiply times x to get 6x? Plus 6. Okay, then what? Multiply twice. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. Subtract. Okay, what is negative 12 minus negative 18? Isaiah? Wow. 6. It's 6. Okay. Negative 12 minus negative 18, which is like negative 12 plus 18, which is 6. So you would say that when you divide these polynomials, you get x plus 6, remainder 6. Now, would you say that x minus 3 is a factor of x squared plus 3x minus 12? No, not a factor, because the remainder is not 0, right? This is the remainder, and the remainder is not equal to 0, so that's not a factor.